Here's a placemat that would have been found in restaurants in 1969, promoting the pilots, the opening day uh, edition, extra edition in the Seattle PI, and a Topps poster that was put out in '69, and various other things. So we shall move on here, and I go over into the Seattle Mariners area, and you can see that we have quite a bit here. Of course, the Mariners do not have a great winning legacy, so we emphasize on our greats like Ken Griffey Jr. and Felix Hernandez. I have a Edgar Martinez shrine here, since he was just inducted into the Hall of Fame last year. I've got my Ken Griffey Jr. shrine over here. We have other things such as a ticket stub and certificate from the first ever game in the Kingdome, and even Maury Wills over there when he was manager of the Mariners, ill-fated manager, I should say. Then we have autographed balls, a lot of autographed balls from the Mariners over the years here. Then we segue down to a Kingdome seat. So when the Kingdome was taken down, they sold seats, and I purchased one. So it has various memorabilia from the Kingdome era on there, including a piece of the Kingdome. See that concrete? And a ceiling tile section that fell and caused them to have to cancel part of the '94 season at home. Played it all on the road, and then the strike happened and it was all for naught anyway. But this pretty cool piece, since my connection to professional sports pretty much began when the Kingdome opened in 1976. Then we have a bit of soccer. Our Sounders are quite popular, and I have even old Sounders stuff because I was a fan back in the '70s of the North American League soccer version of the Sounders. Then we drop down here, and I have a collection of game-used bats or autographed bats. This nice case was my brother's, and you will see that there are quite a few items in here that actually belong to my brother. He passed away 5 years ago, and I inherited his awesome sports collection. However, most of the bats that he had were game used, but didn't really have a lot of connection. Sort of some obscure players when he worked for the Padres and the Angels. But these are mostly Seattle connections here. But I do have a couple of his Hall of Fame bats, Wade Boggs and Pudge Rodriguez, as you can see, and one of my favorites is the Chico Cardenas bat. So we also scan over here, you see another seat, and this one is from Seal Stadium / Cheney Stadium in Tacoma. So Seal Stadium in San Francisco, of course, was the longtime home of the Seals, and then for 2 years when the Giants moved there in '58 and '59, they played at the minor league ballpark. When it was torn down, the seating was taken along with the light towers to Tacoma when they built Cheney Stadium in 1960. When they removed most of the seats, I purchased one, and here I have a piece of memorabilia from every franchise that played there. Lots of autographs, a lot of emphasis on Lefty O'Doul, who was the great Pacific Coast League manager for the Seals. Then we can move on over here. Joe DiMaggio and the DiMaggio brothers played for the Seals, so I have a little shrine there, as you can see. And then let's go up here. I was a big Orioles fan in the 1970s because Seattle didn't have a team, so I have a lot of Orioles stuff here with my heroes from the time. I have a bit of Negro League collection here, you can see, and that's a brick from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. to commemorate my love for the Orioles of the 70s. If we move on over, you can see additional autographed pictures. There's a Willie Mays. This Sandy Koufax is one of my favorite. It's autographed to my brother. It says to Tony. There's an Ernie Banks and various others. Life magazine from when they did the movie on Jackie Robinson back in the day. Luke Appling, just various others here, as you can see. Here's a Mickey Mantle autograph picture. Here, Yogi Berra, Stan Musial. And then we have a bunch of other stuff here. Here's my childhood baseball helmet collection. You've got potato chip pins and over there, and just various and stuff here. And then we'll move down, and I'll show you another big part of my collection is collecting baseball gloves, just the endorsed kind, not actually game used. And then I do build displays around them. So if we move down here, you shall see my first one here. It's a Boys of Summer Dodgers display. It bleeds into Los Angeles because many of the players came over there in Los Angeles. But you can see the gloves in the back and various memorabilia from Pee Wee Reese's bowling alley in Louisville to a Armor coin, etc. in there. And one down in this display case is my international stuff. So it's basically Olympics, World Cup that I attended when it was in the U.S. in '94. I went to the Olympics in L.A. in '84, and just a bunch of other stuff that kind of is lumped into the Olympic sport category. And then just a 70s, 60s, 70s hurlers section down here, too. So you can see Nolan Ryan. Mel Stottlemyre was from the Yakima Valley where I grew up, so he's kind of a childhood hero. So yeah, that's another example there. You can see my magnets that I started collecting as a kid here, too. If we move over a little, there's another couple of glove displays. This one just has various players from the 50s mostly in there. Anyone from Stan Hack to Eddie Matthews. And a few more here. And then there's a Philadelphia display here. I really like the brick from Shibe Park that I got in here. And you can see there are autographs, various other things from Philadelphia A's and the Phillies, players of mostly the 60s, but they go back further too into the 50s. That hat was a giveaway around the wartime back there. Okay, so moving right along here. This is just a section of bobbleheads. We have a whole bobblehead tower in another room with Mariners stuff, but these are just various bobbleheads, some St. John's University stuff there, because that's where my son graduated from, so he kept bringing me St. John's things, and I became a St. John's fan. And then our long lamented loss of the Seattle Supersonics. I have that, quite a collection of Seattle Supersonic autographs, cars, pictures, etc., as you shall see here. Going across. Lots of this stuff I collected it as a child and kept it, but I have also greatly expanded it in the era of eBay. And just before we go, a few more pictures here of autographs, with autographs, excuse me, and some other stuff. Okay, so let's take a look at some additional glove displays and pilot memorabilia in my display case. Okay, so this display case, here, let me back up and give you a look at that. It's a display case that you would find in a jewelry shop or even a baseball card shop kind of thing that I found at a yard sale for $50. I had to do some work on it. But anyway, it's a pretty neat thing to have.
If you look here, you will see more pilot stuff, sort of ephemera. Of course, I had to put a copy of Ball 4 in there. But, you know, pennants, that's a Bazooka Joe pennant, ashtray, buttons, the bank, the Kimco balls, various jewelry, and cards, autograph cards, coffee cup, season ticket holder glass, the Go-Go You Pilots record, just many different things here. Batting helmet that you would have was given away on batting helmet day. Hat that you could have purchased at Six Stadium there. Their 1970 brochure for tickets that, of course, was for naught, including their media guide from 1970 there as well, and a button promoting Major League Baseball in Seattle. Season ticket, a ticket from the home opener right there. Gary Bell, who was the opening day pitcher and winner, that's an autograph ball of his. So yeah, just various stuff that I have collected over the years. Now if we move down one, we're back into my glove display. So here's some 60s era ball players' gloves with all the various cards. These cards are either duplicates or they're from sets that I don't collect, just various things to kind of give a feel for who the player was. And more of my Orioles here, as you can see, Palmer, Boog Powell, my all-time favorite, Frankenbrooks here. And then you can move down, you got your big red machine going over here, and the 60 Pirates with Clemente Mazurowski, Smokey Burgess, and then you got Yankees, Whitey Ford, Mickey Mantle, and Billy Martin, the sort of three Cavaliers that were always hanging out in bars causing trouble. And then you have Ted Williams and Newhouser and Yogi Berra. And finally, you got your 46 Cardinals over here with Musial Slaughter and Joe Garagiola. So, yeah, that's a lot of fun there. That. Now, this is primarily from my brother. This was his collection of autographed baseballs. This particular set of balls contains, I think it's 75 Hall of Famers. There's 162 balls contained in this case. So you can see, just as a sampling of some of the great names that are here, Hank Aaron, Stan Musial, Willie Mays, Joe DiMaggio, Ted Williams, Mickey Mantle, Frank Robinson, Harmon Killebrew, on and on. So there's some very cool greats here. Just with the balls and balls I already have. I have two Stan Musial autograph balls and a picture. I have a Mickey Mantle autograph picture and a Mickey Mantle autograph ball, a Mays ball and a Mays picture. So sometimes it's kind of a, I have to stop and think, whoa, we've got some really good stuff here. So basketball, sort of frozen in my childhood times, players that I liked. But once again, from my brother, there's some really neat stuff here. He got this John Wooden autograph from when the preseason classic was played in Anaheim. There's a Dr. J autograph. How about George Mikan here? So that's pretty cool. And if you go over here, you see I've got some hockey, including the professional Western League Seattle Totems that were a big deal in the 60s, located there. And some just hockey and basketball stuff here. I should give you a glimpse of my hockey puck collection. There's 64 pucks down there, I think. I have a grand total of about 250 when we combined my brothers and mine, so I can only display a mere fraction of them. This is a Seahawks shrine here. Various things from over the years from our Seattle Seahawks, including their World Championship poster, which should have been 2 in a row, but we won't get into that. And then more glove displays down here. This one is kind of a 70s era one. I got Stargell and Dave Parker. As you can see, Dawson Winfield, Ron Say, and George Brett, and Dick Allen, who I always thought was a great ball player and should be in the Hall of Fame, and Jim Rice is in there as well. And then another glove display you'll see here, Mel Ott and Sal the Barber Megley, the Seattle Pilot pitching coach, Al Dark, and then Nellie Fox, Aparicio, and the Skoda, Phil Rizzuto, are all located there. And if you go here, I have a Washington Huskies collection of various Rose Bowl things and some basketball as well. As you can see here, so my wife graduated from law school at the University of Washington, so we do have a connection to it other than just living in Seattle. This is one of my favorite things. As a child, I collected, my brother and I actually collected these Gatorade lids, and you could order the display board, which I did, and I'm glad I did because you seldom see it. You see a lot of the lids on eBay, but not the display. So that's one of my favorite things. We'll come down here. I even have a little boxing section here with some cards and some autographs of Rademacher and Floyd Patterson, who fought for the World Championship at Sick's Stadium in 1957. It's in an old cigar box, which kind of seemed appropriate for boxing. Then you can take a look at a sampling of my Slurpee cups here. And then if we move on back around to sort of where we were in the beginning, you can see I've got some old Seattle from the early part of the 20th century stuff, and then I have RC cans, pretty good collection of those here, which is still just a sampling of what I have. Then as we move around here, you can see I have another picture display going, just some eclectic stuff, Frank Howard autograph there, Bob Boone and Ray Boone autographs there. Earl Averill, who was from the Seattle area, got some stuff there of his. And then we can move on over here to my football section. And as you see here, these little stickers were Chiquita banana stickers. Each one was put on a bunch of bananas at the store, and you collected them. And so between my brother's collection and mine, I was able to finish it off when I got the Boston Patriots for Christmas one year from my son. That was the one I needed. So they're there. My brother was a big Joe Montana fan and 49ers, so even though they're kind of the rivals of the Seahawks now, there's still some cool 49ers stuff here. I was a big Raiders fan before the Seahawks showed up, and so I've got Raiders things. Here's Heisman Trophy winners of the starting lineup figures here. There's a Jerry Kramer who grew up in Idaho, or is from Idaho, near where my wife grew up, so has kind of a connection. And then Paul Horning, and then you've got Alan Page and Jim Marshall and Y.A. Tittle. Another collection of gumball buttons up here, just various Slurpee cups and ephemera. And then my
gumball helmet collection. As you can see, some of these are from 1968 when my brother and I ordered them, and I have continued to add to it over the years. Another button collection in there as well. So some pretty cool stuff there. Some little mini pennants that came off of a vibrating football game. Then I have college helmets too, so those are interesting as well. Then I have a hockey section here. I've got the metal hockey men from one for each team up here from my collection, and a lot of other things. I inherited this California Golden Seals skate bottle opener from my brother. That's one of my favorite pieces, just because of how unique it is. Then another glove display. As you can see, I got Schmitty, Carl Yastrzemski, Rod Carew in there with various ephemera. And if you move down, I've got the 3 Cub Hall of Famers from the 50s, 60s, 70s era of Ernie, Ron Santo, a Seattle native, and of course Billy Williams.